I don't know if today's going to be a long video or a short one. Like, this is a technique video, but it's on the forehand. But there's a lot to explain, but I want to try to keep it as short as possible and simple as possible. I want to talk about how most coaches at the top really like to talk about the wiper swing, the windshield wiper swing, and how that generates topspin, and that is the style of forehand that modern tennis players, tennis pros, are using. But I want to kind of explain why a lot of the top coaches are trying to enforce that and actually talk about that a lot. Today, I'm going to be talking about the sequence of power from your forehand. There's kinetic chain, obviously. Kinetic chain goes from ground up, but we're going to kind of leave out today, like on the footwork. We're going to kind of go into the core and how the arm moves. And even more simply put, I want to talk about the sequence of power when you're trying to swing a tennis racket. Now, a lot of coaches at the top are using the windshield wiper swing, which is great actually. But if you're at the top level and you want to generate a lot of spin, that's great, because not only are you trying to hit the ball hard, okay, and you're putting a lot of force on it, and you need to obviously make the ball go in and drop before the baseline. Not only are you trying to create that force, you're getting the force from your opponent, which is the ball's moving at you. The opponent hit it to you, so the ball's moving to you, and that force you need to absorb that power, or actually know how to create enough spin, the windshield wiper swing, the front swing, to make the ball go or drop before the baseline. So it's your force and their force, and that topspin is what makes that ball dip before that baseline and control where you want to hit the ball. Now, a lot of beginners, intermediate players, and from intermediate players to advanced players, that's fine. But when you're first kind of starting out and you're watching these top coaches talk about how to do the windshield wiper swing, sometimes a lot of the beginners kind of lose focus of what they need to do to generate the power first and then do the windshield wiper swing. The windshield wiper swing is to generate the topspin. It's not to give you the plow through power that gets the opponent to push back. You're not pushing them back just with spin. So what happens is, I'm trying to say the sequence of power happens with the pulling of the racket first, and then it's actually, you pull twice actually. You pull here, you pull the racket from the back, and then you actually pull the racket this way to generate that windshield wiper swing, where it's more of a pulling action and not a push action, right? So the sequence is you pull, and then once the racket goes through, you pull again to generate the windshield wiper swing. Now, to generate more power on your forehand, you have to generate the first power of pulling the racket first to be able to generate the pace, and then you do the windshield wiper swing after. So when you pull the racket from behind you and the racket's coming out, this force has to be somewhat equal to the power that you're generating here when you're doing the windshield wiper swing. That has to be greater to be able to make the ball go in, but you have to generate somewhat pace here with the pulling action to be able to equal that or match that. I'm going to show you an example of why it's called pulling action for me. So when you pull your racket back and you're pulling the racket, go ahead and pull. There you go. So you see how I'm trying to pull here? So you need to generate this power first in order for you to use your windshield wiper swing effectively. But if you're not using that pull here and you're just kind of arming the shot, or the racket is not really getting pulled fast enough, you're only going to be generating spin. You're only going to be generating topspin. So that's why the ball's landing short and you're not getting enough plow through and going through the ball enough. I'll show you examples. So this pulling action here has to be as fast as when you're going the windshield wiper. So if this is slow and this is too fast, you go here, slow, and go fast, you're not going to be generating a lot of power. I'm specifically saying this because someone actually asked me, how do you generate more power on your forehand? They're not hitting it deep enough. Now, there's a lot of different ways, but one of the reasons why recreational players have trouble hitting deep is they don't pull the racket from behind you enough. And you got to pull and then do the windshield wiper swing. That way the ball dips really hard. If you're only doing this, obviously, and you're just pulling the racket and let the racket go like that, then it's just going to go fly out. So as you pull, you have to go equal amount of power with the windshield wiper to get some control, if not faster, to make it even more controlled. Obviously, I could do it try to do it with slow here, really fast, but that's not enough power actually. So it looks okay. It might look okay, but it's really not enough plow through to get opponents moving back. So this pulling action comes first, and then the windshield wiper comes second. So make sure you think about that. Now, there are other ways to generate power and make the ball go deeper. And in the next video on the forehand, I'm going to talk about why coaches want you to hit underneath the ball on the semi-western forehand. Not only hitting underneath the ball, but there's different ways you could actually hit deeper. But one of the biggest reason is because they only focus on the front swing, which is the windshield wiper swing. And number two is when they only focus on getting the topspin and hitting on top of the ball. So you want to hit underneath the ball when you're trying to hit semi-western with a semi-western grip. But I'm going to try to explain that in the next video. Thanks for watching.